Shall we start?
Uday sir, good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I must say, we have got golden opportunity to hear Advocate Dr. Uday Varunjikar sir on very important topic, litigation and its challenges in post-COVID period. In post-COVID period, what is new normal in legal profession and how we should prepare ourselves to face these challenges needs thoughtful guidance. And fortunately, today we will get guidance from one of the eminent personality in legal profession, Advocate Dr. Uday Varunjikar sir. Sir, on behalf of our entire institute, law college staff, students, I welcome you and I'm very thankful to you for accepting our invitation and guiding us on such important topic. Now, I would request Assistant Professor Mayura Sabne Madam to introduce sir and then start the lecture. Over to you, Mayura ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon one and all. Now I will introduce our today's guest speaker, Advocate Dr. Uday Varunjikar sir. Sir has completed his legal education from Mumbai and Pune universities. In 2019, sir has been awarded PhD on the topic of Gender Justice, Human Rights and PCPNDT Act 1994, a critical appraisal of statutory and judicial perspective. Sir has been in legal practice for more than 25 years in Bombay High Court. During his long tenure as an eminent advocate, Sir has handled various socio-legal issues. Sir has honored several posts such as President of Consumer Court Association Maharashtra and many more to mention. Sir has been elected member of Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa twice. Today, Sir is going to enlighten us on the topic of litigation, issues and challenges in the post-COVID period. Now, without wasting further time, I will request Sir to address the audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's a wonderful occasion to meet all students once again. Marathwada Mitra Mandal is conducting law colleges. And it's a pleasure to meet all those law students on different occasions. During this pandemic situation, now I must congratulate the organizers for choosing this topic, namely litigation issues and challenges in post-COVID period. The student of law who has got an admission in the law school, very soon he or she will become a lawyer. And they are the persons who are directly or indirectly concerned with the litigation. And of course, therefore, they are equally concerned with the issues and challenges which will be before the litigation. Let us understand very practically what is the actual impact of the present situation on all of us, more particularly the litigation lawyers. Today, while before delivering this lecture, I visited the official website and I tried to find out what is the pendency of the matters. So far as India is concerned, the pendency of the matter is 3.26 crore, 3.26. Out of which 2.3 crore are the criminal matters and around 90 lakh are the civil matters. We are in Maharashtra, so therefore I tried to check what is the pendency of Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, the total pendency is around 39 lakh, out of which 27 lakh is on the criminal side and 12 lakh is on the civil side. The college is situated at Pune, and therefore I checked the pendency of the Pune also. So far as pendency of Pune is concerned, there are 4.8 lakh cases. Those 4.8 lakh cases are there in the entire Pune city and Pune district, out of which 3.6 lakh are the criminal. So therefore now 3.6 lakh as criminal, 1.1 lakh as civil cases. These all cases are pending in the different courts as on today. Now the question is whether what will be the impact on these all cases which are pending in Pune as on today. We are aware that there are large number of law schools which are in and around Pune. So therefore, the impact will be there on the law school also. So not only court, I'll try to cover up the topic of impact on the legal education. I'll try to cover the impact on the other stakeholders, namely the jails, namely the police, and namely the support staff. So therefore, this is what I am proposing to cover in this entire my session. We are aware that this pandemic situation has resulted into a different situation which was never contemplated by anybody, and the world at large is facing the similar problem which are faced by us even today. I'll give an example of a South African Chief Justice was required to make an open comment in an interview that had there been an attempt to start virtual court in past, then they could have utilized their time for the time during this pandemic situation. Let us come back to the United Kingdom. All young friends who are on that side, they are aware that there was a movie by name Rustum. I'm sure you must have seen that. As a student of law, it is always better to see those movies which are having a legal angle. Rustum was based on a Nanavati judgment. Nanavati judgment was the last judgment in which the jury system was there in the country. Jury system is borrowed by us from the United Kingdom. So United Kingdom is also now considering a situation to reduce or change or deviate from the regular pattern of the jury system. They are citing that during the World War II, the regular jury system was deviated, less number of juries were selected, and then of course there were restrictions during those 4 years, and then there was a deviation. So therefore they are saying that now during this pandemic situation there is a impact on the UK judges and the court and the administration of the justice. So therefore they are facing a problem. Coming back to the USA, we are aware that in the USA now the situation is much more volatile because of the atrocities of the police. Now the more than 150 cities are involved in making a protest against the police. And more surprising that one of the state in the USA was required to issue a guideline saying that do not arrest any accused during a period of 30 days during this pandemic situation. The courts went to such an extreme end, that is, the court said in USA, one of the state said that don't arrest the accused during this 30 days period because of the pandemic situation. This all goes to show that in fact every country is affected and they are facing different issues, different challenges. Let us go to the European courts. We are aware that European Union is now a new system which is introduced, and European judges or European courts, they have issued new guidelines, new standard operating procedure, and they have also threatened that we will be compelled to close the courts if the pandemic situation is continued. This is all which we have noticed in all those developed countries, but India can be compared with Brazil, because India and Brazil, we both are having a tremendous population, tremendous dependency, and we both can be compared with each other, because as compared to UK, as compared to European, as compared to South Africa, or even the USA, Brazil is comparatively closer to us so far as the comparison of the legal professionals are concerned. Brazil is also affected by the issues. Brazil is affected by the pandemic situation, and they are facing the similar challenges. But the only silver lining so far as Brazil is concerned, Brazil has already started the e-court or the virtual court at a substantive level. As a result of that, They are much ahead so far as the litigation is concerned and the virtual courts are concerned, and they are having some kind of solution. Now, coming back to India, let us try to find out that what is the situation. We are aware that all stakeholders are having some kind of uncertainty. There is a fear in the mind of the honorable judges, honorable support staff. Then not only that, the public prosecutors, then the government pleaders, or the defense lawyers, or the individual lawyers, or their clients. Everybody is afraid. And this fear is there in the mind of various other persons who are going to give rise to a different issues. We are aware that a few days back, the state of Maharashtra, more particularly the Secretary of Home Ministry, was pleased to issue one guideline. And that guideline was that you will have to not to terminate the tenancy or not to evict the person for a period of 90 days. That was the direction. Again, the people were wise enough. They asked the question, what is the source of power of the Home Secretary, under which law the Secretary of Home Department of the state of Maharashtra can issue such guideline? Let us not go into all this aspect, because the object was a louder and object was a good one. Everybody should welcome that during this pandemic situation. But the fact remains that the government was also issuing several such directions. Let us go back to the direction which was issued by the Union of India as well as the state of Maharashtra about the employer-employee relationship. The direction was issued by the central government directing that don't deduct the salary during this pandemic situation. Then some of the companies, some of the private employer went to the Honorable Supreme Court, some went to the Bombay High Court, and then both the governments were required to roll back. And then the modified statement came. This is all going to create a further issues. We are aware that this week Supreme Court was not happy with the affidavit in reply which was filed by Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India said that we can't give a waiver of the interest. We can only say there is a moratorium. Initially, they said that it will be for 3 months and then it is extended for 6 months. But that doesn't mean that there won't be a effective benefit. Only deferment of the payment is there. The interest will be charged. And then the Supreme Court was not happy with the statement which was made by the RBI lawyer before the Supreme Court. And then the Supreme Court was required to criticize the conduct and the approach of the RBI by saying that the human man or the human being is important, or your industry is important. Human person or the human individuals will have to be protected, and therefore they adjourned the matter and called upon the central government, more particularly the banking department, to respond to the query which was asked by the court. All this fact goes to show that there are several issues which are cropping up even today. Every day there are new challenges, new issues which are coming before us. Now, coming to the basic issue, we are aware about the Indian Contract Act. In the Indian Contract Act, there is a doctrine of frustration which is mentioned. Now, the question is whether that doctrine of frustration requires further amendment. The doctrine of frustration of contract, whether it requires a revisitation. The doctrine of force majeure, because whether it can be corona can be called as a force majeure or not, that is also a debatable issue. Large number of insurance companies are coming with the stand that no, this is not an act of God, this is something different. So therefore insurance policies are also getting repudiated. So therefore that is also one of the ground which is going to create different challenges of litigation before all of us. In this background, we are aware that the Indian economy is having its own cycle. That cycle is disrupted. If that cycle is disrupted, then of course it is going to have a direct impact on the litigation. We are aware that a large number of cases are pending, as I pointed out earlier, but now there is an apprehension that there will be flood of the cases post-COVID. Those cases which are of a routine manner, those will be, of course, those will be filed. But in addition to this, the trade and commerce disputes will be at a increasing level. The trade and commerce is disrupted. We are aware about that, and that will give rise to a further litigation or the opportunities for the service provider like the student of law. In this situation, let us try to find out what is possible, because what are the necessary changes which are required to be done. We are aware that there is a typical lifestyle which is adopted by all of us. That typical lifestyle is required to be changed. That typical lifestyle which is adopted by everybody will have to be changed. Let us give an example. In Pune, most of the lawyers are going to the Shivajinagar court and they are attending that court, but they do not have their own independent office. We'll have to change our lifestyle. In Pune city, there are around 10,000 lawyers. In Pune district, there are around 4,000 lawyers. Total number of lawyers are 14,000. But the sitting capacity of the bar room in the Shivajinagar court is hardly around 500 or 700. So how are we going to accommodate ourselves in that particular court complex? We'll have to change our lifestyle. There are large number of litigants, a large number of lawyers who go to the court and stay in the court complex for hours together, even though their work or their job is over. That is their lifestyle. We'll have to change our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is such that we go in the canteen of the court complex, we go in the court premises, though we are not having a work, we roam around the corridors of the court. That is our lifestyle in the court complex. That will have to be changed. Unless it is changed, I am afraid you are exposing yourself to the risk of the corona, and therefore it will have to be changed according to me. This is with reference to the lifestyle change of the advocates. Coming to myself or persons of my generation, we are not that computer savvy. We are not that prepared to use the software or the other different technologies. We will have to change ourselves. And of course, sitting in front of a computer is a tedious job. We'll have to learn that aspect also. It is going to affect our eyes. We'll have to moderate. We'll have to cope up with that particular stress which is going to generate on account of sitting in front of the computer for hours together. We'll have to change our lifestyle. These are the things which are going to come in our future. Very soon we are going to face it. Coupled with that, the working style will have to be changed by all of us. Working style means while resolving the disputes, we come across a usual style that the litigant is called again and again to attend the office of the advocate, or he is called to meet the advocate again and again. We'll have to regulate that. In my office, I installed a video camera on my desktop computer, and I have started giving appointments for an online meeting to my litigant. They are not required to come to my office again and again. Let us try to minimize the actual physical contact. The working style will have to be changed. Usually for a dictation, the steno or the typist are the persons with whom we are having a contact as a lawyer, but we'll have to change that practice also. Instead of asking the typist next chair and looking at what the typist is typing on the screen of the monitor or the screen of that desktop, we'll have to change that habit. We'll have to give them a audio cassette of the dictation material which you want to dictate. We'll have to change our lifestyle. The clients will have to be asked that instead of giving a money in cash, kindly deposit in the online, so that the minimize the exposure of the litigant also to this corona. We'll have to change our working style also. We'll have to entertain the litigants on telephone. Perhaps the advocate will have to charge for giving oral advice on the telephone. We'll have to adopt a new method. Usually the litigant comes in the office and then asks a different question. But if we are saying that he should be discouraged to come to the office, but the working style will have to be changed for that purpose. And then on telephone, if you are giving an advice, then he will have to be asked to pay the fees on online method, so that we can prevent exposure of the advocate as well as exposure of that litigant to the present situation. Most of us are going to face a problem of a time management, because what was happening earlier there used to be a usual pattern that matters are being called out in the morning, first half an hour or 45 minutes in all courts, and then those who want to argue, they used to come and they used to make a submission. But it is possible that at one and same time several matters are likely to be called out online or otherwise. So therefore we will have to give much more importance to time management. And coupled with the fact that safety and security of all of us is also one of the concern, and therefore this is also one of the issue which we will have to rather start implementing now. Let us try to understand, after wearing a mask and making a submission in front of the honorable judge, we will not be that audible, we will not be that soft enough, nor we will be loud enough. So therefore we'll have to adjust our pitch or volume of our submission, so that you will be audible, the honorable judge will be able to understand what you are speaking after using the mask, the gloves, the sanitizer, the canteen, the toilet, and all those public places which we are going to use. All those are the hurdles in our day-to-day activities, and at least for a period of few months we will have to prevent spreading of corona. So therefore our own safety and security is also one of the challenge. Now, having said so, now let us go back to the legal education. I am aware that I have been invited by a college on a platform of online lecture, and in that online lecture I must tell you that now the situation is such that the traditional pattern of delivering a lecture will also change. Let me tell you what I am trying to point out. I am trying to point out that now there will be a change in the entire pattern of the education system. Let me try to elaborate this. The traditional way or the pre-pandemic situation, what was there, will not be there immediately. In other words, all these law students are not going to come back to the colleges as it was happening pre-pandemic situation. So therefore now the question is how the law students will be able to attend the lectures. That's a task which will be a task before the honorable principal madam and the college administration. They will have to mold it. Along with that, the exam pattern will also change. There is an apprehension that the exam pattern will change. We are aware that so far as the last year batch is concerned, still the dispute is going on between the chancellor, namely the honorable governor of the state of Maharashtra, and the minister of higher education. Under the Maharashtra University Act, it's a chancellor who is a supreme, and the minister of higher education has taken a decision, and apparently there is a friction between the honorable governor, who is a chancellor under the Maharashtra University Act, and the minister. Now, so far as the last year exam is concerned, up till now, till this moment, the decision is not yet declared by virtue of any circular or a government resolution, and students are waiting. Only thing is this, that the honorable chief minister has declared in his press conference that decision is taken, but nothing has come thereafter so far on black and white on paper. So therefore there is a little ambiguity even today. So therefore examination system is also likely to be affected. That will be a challenge before all of us, how exams to be conducted with reference to the last year student. Coming to the large number of lawyers, we are aware that during this last around 8 to 10 years, at least half dozen lawyers have lost their life. The number is likely to increase. The senior lawyers may not come in the court hearing when it is a physical court hearing during this phase. So therefore, now there is an opportunity for the young lawyers. As the senior lawyers are not likely to come and appear in the court of law before the honorable judges, then in that eventuality, it is possible that there will be a new challenge to all of us. Coming to the jails, we are aware that after a meeting of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, direction, High Power Committee was constituted. That High Power Committee issued a guideline. That guideline is implemented, but large number of criminal work is also decreased because the state of Maharashtra released the under trial prisoners, except those which are not covered under those guidelines. All are released for the time being. So far as the convicted accused are concerned, there is also a parole which is granted. So therefore, the infrastructure of the jail and overcrowding of the jail is also one of the issue. And of course, this will have a effect on the advocates who are practicing on the criminal side. We are aware that around more than 2,000, around 1,500 police personnel are affected by this corona, and few of them have lost their life. They are also equally a stakeholder whose safety security is also one of the challenge. Coming to the support system, support staff, namely the clerk, namely the stamp vendor, namely the other various persons who are there, they are also equally concerned with the present issue, and their safety security is also one of the challenge. Now coming to the infrastructure, are we prepared to deal with online or a virtual court system? The answer is no, because there is no training course, there is no sufficient infrastructure, there is no any mindset which is available so far as the actual such kind of sessions are concerned, actual argument is concerned. Nobody has taught us, nor the lawyers are aware about that, nor the law schools have taught us. So therefore, technological developments which are there, will have to cope up with that. That is one of the important aspects. The question is about the amendment in the law. The virtual court, even if we are thinking and advocating that virtual court require amendment in the Criminal Procedure Code, IPC will require an amendment, CPC will require an amendment. Those procedural laws are also requiring an amendment. Contract Act will require an amendment. Then IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code will also require an amendment. This all things will have to be considered. The legal training which we are imparting, namely the internship, will also change. We'll have to keep this in mind. These are the different new concepts which are required to be considered. There is one option which is available, namely the online dispute resolution. That online dispute resolution can be one of the option which is available as on today, but we are not prepared for that also. To elaborate this, in some of the countries are considering a online dispute resolution mechanism. Perhaps that can be introduced in the India, because if we are purchasing the goods online, we are not verifying who is on that side, nor the person who is selling the goods is verifying who is on this side. It is a online transaction. So therefore, online dispute resolution can also be a one more option which will have to be considered. Most of the time we have been taught that advocate should have a oratory, he should have a debating skill. But post-pandemic situation, the negotiation skill, mediation skill will have to be inculcated so that the litigant will try to engage yourself as an advocate. There is likelihood that the pre-litigation cases may increase in future. There is a possibility that like Uttar Pradesh, the state of Maharashtra will also come with amendment in the labor law, which is also going to be one of the challenge. Bar room which we are using, that bar room management will change. As I pointed out, that hardly 800 or 900 persons can be accommodated. There are around 500 tables approximately in Pune Shivajinagar court. So of course, this is a challenge, how we are going to accommodate large number of lawyers. The court complex management is also one of the issues which is in front of us. All these are the different challenges which are the problems which are faced by us. I'm sure the advocate is one of such species which is most accommodable, which is adjusting himself or herself to any environment. Though we are comparatively less secured, we don't have pension, we don't have provident fund, we don't have several other things, but still we have that compatibility. We have to come out of this situation. We as a lawyer are having a positive thinking. We as a lawyer are prepared to cross every hurdle. We can cross this tide also. We can cross this ocean of problems also. And of course, I'm sure that there will be such a situation that those who will tomorrow write our history, they will say that this COVID has created a substantial impact on the litigation. But the students of law, the lawyers, the litigants in Maharashtra, more particularly Pune, and more particularly the students of Shankarrao Chavan Law College run by the Marathwada Mitra Mandal, they have accepted this challenge and they have converted this particular problem into an opportunity. I wish every success to the organizers and to all these participants who are present here. I know this sharing of a thought is not complete in itself. This is just indicative. This is just pointing out different topics, and I'm giving some kind of a thought for a further discussion. I'm sure you will discuss these issues. You will discuss these problems among yourself. You will discuss with your colleague. You will discuss with your professors, and you will come out of this pandemic situation. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. All the best to all students. Stay safe. Thank you. Back to the college.
On behalf of entire SCLC family, I extend my heartiest gratitude towards Advocate Dr. Uday Varunjikar sir for making us aware about all the impending challenges in the litigation in the post-COVID period. Sir, I thank you for providing our participants with practical solutions of digital working lifestyle. I also thank our management, our principal and participants for sharing their valuable time. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.